back, guys. Week 5. Thought in preparation for October, since all of the conference play really begins in October, and we start seeing some really good games and start getting an idea of how people are. Obviously, Mississippi State, Georgia kind of gave us some indication of how good Georgia is, but October's going to tell the deal. So I thought I'd go over how the team is selected in the team selection process. Number one, and every year, as you know, we have an SEC team as our home team, and they play every year. The interesting part about this board, if you look at it, is we have an opportunity to have any one of these teams. The top teams will play up into the CFP, and the SEC generally will get their champion in the CFP. There's an opportunity for them to then play in another bowl game this year. The playoff is at the Sugar Bowl, so they may play in the Orange Bowl. Then there's a grouping of teams that won't make eligibility for the bowl games. And so we eliminate those people at the bottom and those people at the top, and then we start concentrating on things like Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Auburn, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, LSU, so Arkansas certainly. So we start focusing on those teams. The key here is that if any one of the bowls in the pool have played in a bowl game in the last 2 years, they're not eligible to go back to that bowl game. That gives us an excellent opportunity to look at what this chart does, which it shows us who they are and where they played in what bowl games. So, for example, if you take a look at Florida, Florida played Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. They're more than likely not eligible to go back to the Citrus Bowl. They played in the Outback Bowl last year. They're not eligible to go back to the Outback Bowl. So if a team like Florida is available on our list, then clearly we have an opportunity to get Florida, would focus and concentrate on Florida based on how they finish the season. The same thing with Georgia. Georgia is eliminated from playing in our game because they played Penn State 2 years ago. So those are the kinds of things that we have to look at as we move through the SEC selection. But that's the first pick. We look at what we're going to do with the SEC selection first. Next, we have a choice between the ACC, the Big Ten, and Notre Dame. We have a partnership with the Music City Bowl. The Music City Bowl and myself will sit down, and the board will sit down, and we will start talking about, hey, if Michigan State's on the board, would you guys be interested in Music City Bowl, or are we interested in our TaxSlayer Bowl game? So we have conversations about both of these conferences. But the selection process is the same. Whoever wins the conference will play up. There's a possibility that another team may play up also, like last year. And then it starts the pool selection. And if you look at the pool selection, eliminate those people that appear not to get bowl eligible. So if we were talking about it right now, we would probably believe Boston College was not going to get bowl eligible. North Carolina's in trouble of not getting bowl eligible. So we start talking about the teams in the middle. The pool in this conference are made up of, obviously, the TaxSlayer Bowl and the Music City Bowl, but only one pick between the two of us. Then we have the Pinstripe Bowl, Charlotte, and the Sun Bowl. So you've seen some of those bowls. These teams are eligible to play in the bowl game as many times as they want to. So the fact that we had Georgia Tech last year doesn't eliminate Georgia Tech from our picture, unlike the SEC. But we own the rights to 4 teams. In other words, if any one of these 4 teams are available for our selection, we get to pick them. That's Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and Georgia Tech. So if you know we're not going to repeat Georgia Tech, you just cancel them off. So our rights belong to Clemson, if Clemson is available, which they're pretty good, so I wouldn't count on that. Florida State may very well fall into our mix. And then, of course, Miami, University of Miami would be a good pick for us. So that's the selection process over here. Over here, they do it differently. Jim Delaney, the commissioner of the Big Ten, wants to have every one of his teams play in 5 different bowl games in a 6-year period, which tells you we're probably not going to see Penn State again in this 6-year period. We have 3 years left. It also means that the Holiday Bowl, the Citrus Bowl, the other bowl games in our pool, Music City, Russell Athletic, those bowls are not going to see the same teams they've already had. Well, what this does for you is, let's just take Michigan, for example. Michigan is not probably going to go to any ranking of bowls. If they don't play up and they're in our mix, then you could have a 10-2 Michigan that would be sitting there and they couldn't go to some of the other bowl games that are in the mix, and they could come to us. So that's kind of the way they do it. 5 different teams in a 6-year period. That's going to give you an opportunity to get a really good Big Ten team. Again, Music City and TaxSlayer will have a discussion about which way we want to go. We'll work it out between us. So we're going to have an SEC school, and they're either going to play the ACC or Notre Dame, or they're going to play a Big Ten school. And the Music City's got the same thing on the others. What's great about that is it gives us flexibility. What's really good about that is that you'll see different teams playing our bowl game every year, and that's our goal. You may have noticed this week that we announced our military program. We're going to, in conjunction with TaxSlayer, give away 5,000 tickets to our game. Immediately following the game, in Daly's place, we're going to have a concert for those military people and their families. If you are retired, if you have ever served in the military, or you're a current military person, you can go online to TaxSlayerBowl.com. You can register to get up to 4 tickets. You'll come to the stadium, you'll show your ID, we'll give you a ticket, we'll also give you a wristband that will allow you to go to the Daly's concert. Interestingly enough, we announced that at the beginning of this week, and we've already done over 4,000 tickets. So we're very excited about that program. We should salute the people that gave us the opportunity to have our freedom and allow us to talk about anything we want to talk about, and gives us an opportunity to salute those people. So we're very excited about it. We look forward to seeing you next week, and there's some tremendous games this week because now we're starting to get into the conference schedule, and I'm excited about college football. Thank you very much.